Welcome to the CPM Customer Success Podcast, where we help Office of Finance leaders enable an exact solution to enhance their corporate performance without spending countless nights and weekends in the office. Hi, I'm your host, Andy Smetana from Nova Advisory. Nova Advisory is a 100% OneStream professional services diamond implementation partner. We help OneStream customers and prospective OneStream customers get the most out of their OneStream investments. For CPM Customer Success listeners, we now have a weekly email newsletter to keep you informed on the latest CPM Customer Success news. By subscribing today, we'll keep you informed on episode releases, including customer success stories, OneStream interviews, and capabilities to keep you up to date about OneStream's unified platform for finance. You can check that out now at Nova Advisory's website, novaadvisory.com/podcast, and subscribe to the CPM Customer Success Podcast newsletter today. Happy New Year and welcome back. Today we've got a OneStream 2025 year in review. It's officially 2026 and the buzz of future possibilities are in the air. Hot off the press this week came the news that private equity firm HG has agreed to acquire OneStream in a transaction valued at $6.4 billion. This is a move that promises to accelerate the OneStream AI strategy and long-term investments outside of the pressures of quarterly public markets. CEO Tom Shea highlighted that this strategic transition is about speed and focus, especially around AI innovation. This will free up OneStream from short-term investor expectations. This sets a fascinating backdrop. Finance leaders increasingly demand deeper analytics, not just historical reporting. And OneStream is betting big on AI to deliver that. But today we're going to look back at OneStream Software's 2025, a pivotal year of capability growth, strategic repositioning, and innovation that's shaping how finance organizations plan, close, forecast, and report. Let's set the stage and talk about market and strategic context. 2025 was a year where finance leaders were pressed from both sides. They had tightening economic conditions, rising expectations for agility, and an undeniable pull towards AI-enabled decision support. OneStream responded by doubling down on unifying close, planning, reporting, and analytics capabilities, all with an eye toward delivering predictability, efficiency, and intelligence for the modern CFO. Throughout 2025, OneStream rolled out meaningful new capabilities designed to help finance teams work smarter and faster. So let's go over some of the standout achievements of the year. First off is AI and analytic enhancements. OneStream's Sensible AI studio routines expanded. This includes benchmarking and outlier analysis, which helps CFOs surface anomalies, trends, and contextual insights directly within workflows. Number 2, AI-powered ESG planning and reporting. This became an integrated part of the platform, reflecting the increasing importance of environmental, social, and governance data for enterprise reporting and investor communications. Third, modern financial close. OneStream introduced a modern financial close solution with enhancements to tools like the Journal Entry Manager and Transaction Matching to automate close processes while reinforcing auditability and control, which were real wins for accounting teams fighting manual reconciliation bottlenecks. Fourth, productivity and connectivity. The launch of new productivity tools from Microsoft's Fabric and Microsoft Power BI integrations and workflow automation, which helps finance teams reduce cycle times and derive insights faster. These are especially valuable for organizations with distributed data sources. Fifth, platform evolution. OneStream launched version 9 of the platform, which delivered broader functionality and performance improvements. This continued the strategy of unifying financial planning and close into OneStream's single platform. At the OneStream Splash 2025 user conference, leaders framed these enhancements as part of the finance AI era. which underscores predictability, agility, and efficiency as core CFO priorities. This isn't just about feature checkboxes. It's about empowering finance teams to think ahead, spot risks, and align planning with corporate performance outcomes. 2025 wasn't just about internal development, though. The market also took notice. OneStream was recognized as a 5-time leader in that 2025 Gartner Magic Quadrant for financial planning software. This validates the strength in planning and analytics against the competitive landscape. OneStream was also a market leader in the 2025 BARC score for financial performance management software. This marks 5 consecutive years of top placement in the BARC score. For finance leaders, these recognitions aren't just trophies. They signal platform maturity, reliability, and strategic relevance in areas that matter most. Things like planning accuracy, consolidations, and financial close performance. So one of the most important ways to evaluate a year isn't just by product announcements or analyst recognition. It's by looking at what finance teams actually changed in their day-to-day realities. Across OneStream's customer base, we saw a clear pattern emerge. There's less time producing numbers, there's more time understanding them. So let me share 2 recent CPM customer success stories that bring this to life. The first CPM customer success story is with a global manufacturer which modernized their close and forecasting processes. This large global manufacturer organization, they entered 2025 with a familiar challenge. They had a fast close on paper, but one that still relied heavily on manual reconciliations, offline analysis, and disconnected planning models. They were running a multiple ERP environment across regions, with accounting teams under pressure to close faster, while their FP&A teams struggled to keep their forecasts aligned with the rapidly changing demands and supply chain conditions. After consolidating financial close, reporting, and planning into OneStream, the impact was immediate and measurable. Their monthly close was shortened by multiple days, not cutting corners, but by automating the reconciliation processes, their journal entries, and validation rules. Forecast cycles that previously took days were reduced to hours, allowing the FP&A teams to reforecast more frequently and with greater confidence. Most importantly, finance leaders gained clear visibility into the drivers behind those forecast changes rather than just the outputs. What stood out wasn't just speed, it was trust. Executives stopped questioning where the numbers were coming from, and they started focusing on what the numbers meant. So for this organization, 2025 marked a shift from reactive forecasting to continuous driver-based planning supported by AI-assisted insights, rather than spreadsheet heroics. Next up, for the second CPM customer success story, this comes from a complex higher education organization. This public university is part of the U.S. Southeast's most comprehensive academic health center and one of the nation's top 10 public research universities. With hundreds of budget owners, decentralized planning processes, and a long history of shadow systems, each department had its own way of budgeting. HR models lived outside of finance. Operational metrics weren't consistently aligned to financial outcomes, and every planning cycle involved a massive effort just to keep structures in sync. So in 2025, this organization used OneStream to unify their planning across the enterprise, not by forcing every group into the same rigid model, but by using OneStream's extensible dimensionality to reflect how the business actually operates. So here's what changed. Their time spent manually planning models dropped off dramatically. This freed up finance teams from constant rework. Adding or updating workforce assumptions, something that used to take them weeks, could now be done in minutes without breaking downstream reports. Department leaders gained direct ownership of their plans, while finance retained governance, control, and a single version of the truth. Perhaps the most telling outcome? Well, finance leaders reported that planning conversations became more strategic. Instead of debating data accuracy, discussions shifted to trade-offs. Where should we invest? What scenarios matter most? How do operational decisions translate into financial outcomes? That's a subtle but powerful transformation, and one that many finance teams experienced in 2025 with OneStream. So while these organizations operate in very different environments, their outcomes point to the same conclusion. In 2025, OneStream customers weren't just closing faster or forecasting quicker, they were changing the role of finance. From empty reporting to insights, from static plans to dynamic scenarios, from fragmented tools to one connected platform. So as we head into 2026, with AI becoming more deeply embedded into planning, forecasting, and analysis, these kinds of real-world results are setting the baseline expectation for modern finance teams. So if you're a CFO, you're a CAO, you're head of FP&A, or a CIO listening in right now, what should you take away from this? Well, first, takeaway number one, unify to amplify. 2025 showed us that unifying planning, close, reporting, and analytics reduces friction and enhances insights, which allows you to turn data points into strategic narratives. Takeaway number two, AI isn't a buzzword anymore, it's embedded. With OneStream's sensible AI routines, benchmark analysis, and their ESG integration, AI is now part of financial workflows. It's not a separate experiment. Takeaway number three, prepare for next-gen finance. Expect finance technology to further embed predictive capabilities, tighter automation, and connected analytics. Platforms like OneStream are positioning to enable this future for your organization. Takeaway number four, adaptability matters. Whether it's macro shifts or strategic ownership changes, finance organizations benefit most when their tech stack supports adaptability, visibility, and scalability. So looking ahead, as OneStream transitions towards private ownership with HG and continues expanding its AI suite and other capabilities, Nova Advisory anticipates 2026 will be another year of evolution. For finance leaders, that means more opportunities to elevate finance into a true strategic partner for your business. Thanks for joining us for this episode of CPM Customer Success. Reminder to check out the CPM Customer Success weekly email newsletter to stay informed of the latest CPM Customer Success episodes and OneStream news. You can check that out now at the Nova Advisory website, novaadvisory.com/podcast, and subscribe to the CPM Customer Success Podcast email newsletter today. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next week for another episode of CPM Customer Success.